AJ, when's the showcase happening? AJ, where's the PlayStation showcase?
Useless tosses. What's up, man?
Hey,
Long time no see. You ready for another 7.5 hour stream?
no, in fact, I don't think I'm ever going to be ready for another 7.5 hour stream. That was brutal. Yeah, I wanted everyone dead at the end of it, and but most of all me. So let's not do that anytime soon again.
So nothing has changed.
Yeah, pretty much the same shit, different day. But today is different. It's Tuesday.
Today, Brian.
Today
it is
it's
Tuesday.
the greatest day I've ever known. It's Tuesday. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Tornado's staring at me. I must have done something wrong. Dude, let's start the show before she takes the whole show down. Let's do this thing.
Let's go.
Let's go. This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday. Jeez, it's so wrong right now. And Friday, right here on YouTube, 6 p.m. Eastern. We bring it to you live because we love you oh so very much. And you're snuggleable, like cats. My name is Brian Popnishon, right here, PSVR without Parole. And this gentleman over here to my right, the one, the only, the AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What's up, man? I just ear-holed myself with my aim controller, and it didn't feel great. But I do feel great because there's been some exciting shit today, and I can't wait to talk about it and make everybody's Tuesday suck. Just a little bit less.
I'm squishing my head. Yeah, man, I can't wait to make everyone's Tuesday suck a little bit less. I am totally thrown off, though. Salvador with a $10 tip says, finally finished watching the debate. Just wanted to say you guys did a great job planning on revisiting/playing every game on the top 50 this week. Thank you so much, Salvador. We appreciate you. I can't believe, dude, I can't believe there were people who watched that thing from beginning to end. It is absolutely crazy. You guys are just the most loyal, the most awesome cats anybody could ever want left at their doorstep. We love you so very much.
It was a super fun time, man. A big shout out to our co-hosts, Wes and Miles, who also, and Aceville, special guest appearance.
Fuck Aceville.
Who's basically, no, he did a great job too. Like he fits right in. Proud to be a part of this team, and love the lovely little bunch we got going here.
Hell yeah, man. I totally agree. We also got the Beerstees Cavern. What's up, Hugo? The Beerstees Cavern. Game Cats Cavern. The 7 Canadian says, what up, Game Cats? It's been a while. I'm getting engaged next week. Wait a minute.
What?
Wait. What do you mean getting engaged? It means you're asking somebody to marry you. She hasn't said yes yet. So are you being premature about?
Wait, you're right. I'm getting engaged next week. That is true.
Not getting married next week. I'm assuming she's gonna say yes next week. That's what the tip should have said. Hugo, want nothing but the best for you, and I hope they're a great person, and you deserve nothing but the best. So good luck, and let us know how it goes. I'll buy you a pizza if she says no. We got Pietrek F with the 9 plantains. Says Polish Paul leaked PSVR2 price £5.99. Not bad. Okay. Alexa.
He did send me that video.
Alexa, how many dollars is 600 pounds?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, $501 bills are 105.
Alexa, please stop. Has nothing to do with the question that I asked. Okay.
I thought I heard 5 something.
Yeah, she was explaining how money works or something. It was very confusing. I don't need that. But if somebody in the chat can do math for us, I'd love to know how many dollars that is. I'd also love to know what his source is. Whatever. I don't care. Because we got some real news to talk about today. Real quick, guys, if you didn't watch the 7.5 hour live stream where we figured out the top 50 PlayStation VR games of all time, then make sure to check that out. Or just go and click the like button on it. Like, really, it's asking 7.5 hours of anyone's time is ridiculous. I can't believe that, my co-host showed up. That was kind of ridiculous. The fact that they didn't leave halfway through was the most ridiculous thing of all time. So shout out to
let's
everybody.
be honest.
Yeah.
They have watched it twice already. And I have too, because it was awesome.
You watched it twice?
No,
I was gonna say.
I don't have that kind of time.
Seriously. Oh, the Bearseas
I
Cavern.
hardly have enough time to be there.
Hugo follows it up with another $7. Canadian says, "We already talked about it, but I'm surprising her on our vacation. We are also on Project Baby. We are also on Project Baby. Okay, there's no periods or commas. People accuse me of being a bad reader all the time, AJ, and here's the reason. Because
Firewall Baby Hour.
No, because I can't fucking read. Yeah. Sergeant Frosty, congratulations again, Hugo. Sergeant Frosty with $5 tip says Firewall and PSVR without Parole are my childhood. That's right, man. That's right.
It's pretty true, actually.
You guys
I mean, I know he says that about everything, but I actually kind of believe him this time.
Yeah. Agreed. Life begins at 40, they say. I don't know. So, Waleed is now a GameCat, specifically White Tiger with the Canadian $5 tip, says, "Hey Brian, hey AJ, great job on the top 50 Bloodbath video. I am 4 hours into that video. I had an explosion of emotions watching the Firewall trailer." Yeah, it doesn't get better after the 4 hour mark, Waleed. I hate to tell you this. I almost tear AJ's head off when we talk about Farpoint, which is, I mean, typical at this point, but still noteworthy chapter of the 7.5 hour conversation.
It had to happen, man. It had to happen.
Yeah.
It was the best part of the show.
We should probably explain real quick too that it's Tuesday today. We didn't do a show yesterday because of the bloodbath on Saturday, and also I was working on a couple videos I kind of wanted to finish, and then on top of that, there's not going to be a show Wednesday because I'm going to Boston tomorrow for My Chemical Romance, and so there just wasn't going to be a way to do Monday show or Wednesday show, and so when the Firewall stuff got announced today, we said, hey, let's do this, right? We were able to do this. So
yeah, this is freaking huge, man. This is awesome.
Yeah,
great news to talk about today.
Great news to talk about today, and AJ, it all starts with our good friends over at nDreams, who have already announced the opening of a few other studios, but then today they detailed the big studio Elevation, which I've been calling Escalation. Sorry, sirens on my end. I've been calling it Studio Escalation for literally the entire time. Ever since they told us it was going to be a thing, I've been calling it nDreams Studio Escalation. My apologies. It's called Elevation, although I think Escalation's a better name. That's not really the point now, is it? But let's. Oh, that's me. That's not where I want to go. There's a button here somewhere that I want to push. There's too many buttons, AJ. There's too many buttons. I don't know where to go. Here it is. So let's check out this article, man. Maybe we can delve a little bit deeper into what nDreams Studio Elevation is all about. It starts off Studio Spotlight, nDreams Studio Elevation, and I'm going to read this. It is really small in my window. AJ, do you happen to have a bigger window up that you can read it from? Because
I sure do.
Thank you.
nDreams is expanding rapidly, but we've been at the forefront of VR gaming for almost a decade. Each entry in our Studio Spotlight series will introduce you to one of our 3 studios, including our teams, our projects, and our shared culture. Get a glimpse behind the scenes of what it means to work at the cutting edge of VR. We are nDreams. And of course, this comes from their official website, nDreams.com/news/Studio Spotlight, blah, 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 blah. nDreams Studio Elevation was established to be at the bleeding edge of VR innovation. Backed by industry veterans and proven VR credentials, this passionate team is setting out to define and ultimately lead the next generation of VR gaming. Quote, "I've been a part of nDreams since its early ventures into VR," end quote, says Glenn Brace, studio head for Elevation. "I joined a relatively small team with the aspirational goal to build out the studio and a development team with AAA development sensibilities, quality, and levels of creativity."
Whoa.
Throwing out the A word.
Throwing out the AAA word, which is crazy. Do you think that nDreams really has a sense of what AAA means? Do you think that it's time for us to stop using terms like AAA when what we really mean is AAA for VR? Like, I really want to stop using that term. I just want AAA to be ubiquitous across the board. When we mean AAA, everybody knows what we're talking about.
They certainly make really polished products, but I do think they fall short, pun intended, of everything that makes what a AAA game. There's no doubt that they are able to create AAA feeling experiences, but I do think that is their next objective. I think that's the way that they can take a giant step forward, is to create bigger games, because they make great games, but they're oftentimes small, great games.
I'm just trying to understand the short pun. What was that? I don't.
Short, because fract is short, but it's great.
Oh, in length. I was thinking like in height, in stature. Yeah. When Dan Dunham was on here from Electric Hat Games, makers to the top, now part of Skydance team. Congratulations on the job, Dan. Very cool that you were able to join that team. He was talking about a term called triple I. And I really think that nDreams is the definition of triple I, right? They're certainly indie games, but they just exceed the level of polish of most indie games, the level of quality. They just go above and beyond. And I really do think nDreams was triple I, or in some of these studios will continue to put out triple I games, but Elevation is aiming for true triple A. So we'll see how that goes. Sorry, I totally derailed the conversation, man. Let's read the rest of the article.
That's totally fine. And he says, we did just that. And now we are taking these development successes and lessons learned forward into Elevation. From the quality, level of immersion, and roleplay found in Phantom Covert Ops to the fluid, fast-paced, and accessible action traversal of Fract, Elevation aims to continue the nDreams legacy of pushing the VR medium forward through innovative, high-quality games. Elevating the action-adventure genre is the first mission for Elevation and a natural playground for a team so enthusiastic about experimentation. Gamers can experience more exhilarating action and incredible adventures via the VR medium than would be possible in traditional games, and this studio seeks to prove this more definitively than ever. Quote, our development into a multi-studio company is making nDreams an even more exciting place to work and make games, says Chief People Officer Tamsin Olenwai.
Chief People Officer. That sounds like such a made-up title.
I have never heard of a CPO. I don't think. I don't think I've heard of a chief people officer. That is derailing.
Chief engineer in charge of the break room. We're just hiring people and giving them titles at nDreams.
Hey, reflecting on the establishment of Elevation and nDreams Studio Orbital to sit alongside nDreams Studio. The breadth of VR gaming experiences we can work across has never been greater, and we have opportunities for new team members in so many areas to come and make an impact.
Lunchroom, break room, needs management.
All right. The fully remote Elevation team. Oh, they're fully remote.
Interesting.
Is growing fast, and we're all very excited about what they're working on. It's exciting to see each of our studios developing their unique cultures while maintaining the overall ethos and values that make nDreams great. Elevation's goal is to deliver excellence in gameplay, experience, and virtual presence with a particular focus on player agency. The key, Elevation believes, is building from the ground up for VR to maximize the hardware, haptics, and unique controller inputs for fuller experiences that would be impossible on other platforms. Okay, I guess they just mean non-VR platforms.
Yeah,
but it is.
Yeah, it sounds.
They're using a lot of stuff that sounds like that is featured in PSVR2.
True,
but most likely the next, I'm sure the next headsets from other companies as well.
Yeah.
Want
me to take over? You all right?
No, I'm good. They're kind of repeating the same things a couple times here because it's of course a little bit of PR stuff, but they're repeating the same thing. So I'm actually getting confused about where I was because I see the same thing over and over. Like this quote: "We really want to push the envelope of what is possible with VR," adds Jack Campbell, senior producer on the team, building on the heritage of nDreams, particularly Fract and Phantom Covert Ops. We want to provide true console fidelity on on up and coming headsets. To be able to do that, we need to grow the team. With a target of reaching a headcount of 30 to 40 people within the first year, Elevation is coupling industry veterans with an influx of new, diverse, and exciting talent. The studio has big ambitions. We're looking for veterans and talented newcomers from across the industry who are passionate about VR and crafting rich single-player experiences that stand the test of time, says Robert Harper, technical designer. VR is at an exciting point. The design paradigms for genres and mechanics are not set in stone. We want to be the ones that break the mold. Break the mold.
The picture right above where you're reading, this guy, like with zero kind of explanation as to what he's doing there, just kind of out of place. I
think they look like they're in a cafeteria.
They do. Maybe he's
eating and having a conversation.
Maybe he's chief operator engineer of break room.
Of people.
Yeah, of people.
Of break room people.
All right.
nDreams Studio Elevation is exploring the potential of Unreal Engine 5, with exciting prototypes already showcasing the fun and innovation for which this growing team will become known. Using their fail fast, succeed faster approach. Fail fast.
I like it.
Succeed
right.
Faster
you learn from your mistakes, kind of thing, and so you fail, and you like learn from that, but it brings you to success. I like it. I like the motto.
Ensuring they find the fun by iterating on feedback and playtesting. Elevation is uniquely and ideally placed to be leading evolutions in VR gaming. And then there's just a little bit left here. There have been some fantastic PC and console titles in the past few years that have inspired the Elevation team, but there are enhancements to the gameplay quality and emotional engagement of these games that can only be made through a truly immersive medium like VR. Gamers have long understood this to be the promise of VR, and Elevation wants to deliver it. Cutting-edge hardware allows us to create higher fidelity characters, worlds, and animations that have rarely been realized in the VR space before, adds Andy Pattison, art director. As a team, we want to make high-end games, not just interesting experiences. Our remote-first approach and collaborative nature are really going to make it an incredible team to be part of. Then they just say, to learn more, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Wow, you're right. I mean, I kind of glanced through it before you read it.
Yeah,
it seemed like there was a lot more information there. It didn't, but there was a whole lot of PR speak kind of thrown in. That said, separate from this, it's nice to see a studio saying, "Hey, this new studio is going for AAA." That is what they're doing. Like they're not making games for current gen headsets. They are making games for upcoming headsets. They're making bigger games. And I think there's very few studios out there who I trust when they say this is what they're doing, right? I think right now, like I feel like Survios needs to come out and say this stuff too. They're like, we're opening another studio as well that's focused on AAA, and we're aware that we haven't made AAA games yet, but this is our passion. This is what we want to do. nDreams, I feel like I trust, right, that what they've done so far has been quality, but again, they have kind of a long way to go to get to their goals.
They do have a long way to go because, like you said, most of their games are really good. But you do kind of see the evolution and where they came from. I mean, stuff like with Bloody Zombies is like a side scroll 2.5D beat 'em up, to then like Shooty Fruity, which is a wave shooter, and then you get Phantom Covert Ops, which is Metal Gear kayaking, and then they come out and they say, look, we are so sick of being limited by VR locomotion, we want to make something that's fun, action-packed, adventure-filled, and they make Fracked. And I think from what I can see, like they've nailed all those things that they talk about they've wanted to evolve and grow. But they do have still one giant hurdle, and that is creating something that goes well beyond just an experience and something that is like a game that stands the test of time, like what they said. So I do think they still have a lot of work cut ahead for them, but I do think they're on the right track for that.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting if they actually take any of these IPs that they've had before. like Fract, like Phantom Covert Ops, like Shooty Fruity, like whatever, and see how far they can push them, like make a sequel or make a follow up or make something in those universes where now it's Phantom Covert Ops, but you get to get out of the kayak. Like you get to have a full Metal Gear experience, and the kayak is just one of many traversal methods that you get to use. That's what I would consider like a more full fledged game. I think they did a great job for what it was. I mean, I was absolutely shocked in Phantom Covert Ops that like I was okay kind of not getting out of the kayak. Like it was the vehicle that brought me to each new kind of puzzle stealth scenario. But I do think you can't do that again. You can't make Phantom Covert Ops 2 more kayaking. It's like we did it and it was fun, but that's enough. So
Definitely the one thing that was, as much as I enjoyed it, it was definitely like, okay, I really wish I could just be getting out of this thing now, like but everything else was pretty cool. But yeah, I think the one hurdle they're going to have here is that when they're breaking their studio up into several different studios, having things like remote work as well, which we know a lot of studios still do remote work. The one resource that I see that they need that I don't know if they have or not is time. I think there's no doubt that if they were given years to make something, they could really achieve, something along the lines of a AAA, a huge title. But I think that's why we get, while Phantom Covert Ops, while Fract were extremely polished, had so many great things, they still took probably 2-3 years making those. And that's one of the disadvantages of being a smaller team. So, hopefully we'll see that they have enough firepower and to have this expansion and still have the resources needed to develop, these huge games that they're going after. When I think AAA games, I think like really big games,
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I would assume that Fract was completely funded by PlayStation since it's an exclusive, and PlayStation probably gave them a deadline. And so it's like, and the money runs out eventually, or the time runs out eventually. And eventually you got to say, well, this is what we have. Let's tie up all the loose ends and push it out the door. Right. And so Fract seems like the beginning of a much, much bigger adventure, or there was a much bigger adventure, in the middle that kind of got cut out, and we got an awesome beginning and like a really awesome end. And then it was like, well, where was the epic Uncharted adventure? Hopefully Elevation gives them the resources that they need to spend as much time or as much money as it takes to get these bigger projects out the door, rather than being on someone else's schedule, like a PlayStation or an Oculus product. AJ, we got a few tips here. We'll get through, and then we'll move on to the big topic of the day. Starting with Dead Ringer, the Game Cat, with $3 tip, says, I have an hour to go. He's talking about the bloodbath, but I am watching it all. Thank you, Dead Ringer, so much.
Thanks, man.
Darth Vader, the Game Cat, with the $2 tip, says 149 days until Dead Island 2. Daily dose, Brian. Daily dose. It's my daily dose of Dead Island 2. I did tweet out that
I saw that.
Yeah, dude. I bought. I don't know if I told you this. I bought the Hell A edition, the $100 edition of Dead Island 2. It's the only flat screen game I'm probably going to buy all generation long, and I mostly bought it because I think it's going to look good on my shelf. It's coming out right around the same time as PSVR2, so I really hope I have time to play it. But I'm super excited for it. Emily Baxter. Sorry.
That's a game that would be a great fit for VR. So,
dude,
that's one where I'm like, never say never. Like, we had a conversation before about, I wouldn't expect it at launch, but that's one that could eventually see something.
Yeah, it seems like such a perfect fit, man. Like you're just walking around, you're human, like you occasionally get into a vehicle. I mean, if it's anything like Dead Island 1, obviously, with just weapons that you're swinging or shooting. Like it's very, very straightforward in terms of traversal and mechanics. So I don't know, I don't see why there would be any issue getting into VR. Emily Baxter, hashtag the cartoony witch game kit with a $2 tip, says, hype level restored. I think this is in relation to our next topic, which we will get to after we get to Nibble the Game Cat's €10, says, I think you should get together for a new bloodbath debate. Which PSVR games actually qualify as AAA? I think very few, man. I think very few. Skyrim,
Oh,
Resident Evil 7.
yeah, games. That's the thing is the best examples of AAA VR games are ones that are by non-VR studios that
Yeah.
jumped in. So that's the hope is that these both sides need to learn a little bit from each other. VR side needs to learn how to make a fully fleshed out, deep game and like complete, big large game, and then the AAA studios and stuff need to look at what the independent developers are doing and kind of see all these mechanics like the fracked cover system and all the cool little details, and they have to go in there and rebuild their games from the ground up, like we're seeing with Resident Evil Village, is like what's being done with that, like what No Man's Sky is doing. They got it right the first time, and they're like one of the few. I still don't know if I'd count them as a AAA team though.
Yeah.
They seem more like a smaller team that's had 6 years to update the game and.
It's difficult to kind of pinpoint if we don't have an exact definition. We say AAA all the time. We all kind of have an idea of what that means. There used to be some kind of budget set on that. Like if a game costs more than $5 million to make, yeah, then it's considered AAA. But prices of games have gone up, team sizes have gone up, all sorts of things have changed over the years. So what counts anymore? Once upon a time, Resident Evil 4 used to be a AAA game. Is it still? 20 years later? Is it because it's 20 years later? Is it no longer considered AAA? Was it? It was obviously AAA when it came out. Lots of questions that need to be answered before we start having this kind of debate. And without those answers, I fucking don't know, man. I don't know at all. All right. Was that till the end of the tips? It was. So let's move on to what would be considered the big news of the day, and that is that we woke up to a blog post and a trailer on the PlayStation YouTube channel of Firewall Ultra. Now, this is the follow-up to Firewall 0 Hour, which was, one of the biggest games on PlayStation VR1. AJ's had his aim controller here the whole time.
Yes, celebrate, baby.
Right? Let's
go.
I don't know how many hours I have in this game. How many hours do you have in this game? Or the original, obviously.
Over 500.
Over 500. Right? You can't say that about too many games. Are there how many of those? How many games on PlayStation VR do you have more than just a few hundred hours in?
A few hundred hours or over 500?
I
play a lot. I play a lot, man.
No Man's Sky. What? Beat Saber, Firewall. Anything else come to mind? Dreams.
You're probably asking the wrong. I'm probably not the best example, man, because I am a game addict, and I play every single day, man. But yes, realistically, out of the over 300 VR games I've played, a handful, like at most.
Right on. The Wolf Craze with his $2 tip says, "Howdy, Wolf Craze. How's it going?"
Howdy ho.
Yeah. So, dude, obviously this was an exciting way to wake up. It was an amazing way to start the morning. We'll get into the blog post in just a second. We'll read through everything. We'll make sure we don't miss out on anything because there's actually a lot of details that they've revealed about this game in the blog post, whereas they didn't seem to reveal all too much here in the trailer. So we'll go through all that in a second. But before we do that, AJ, I need to know, because this is the first time I've talked to you all day. You've been at work. I've been doing other stuff, and we haven't even had a chance to check in on our hype level. What is going on, man? How excited are you? How excited were you when you saw this?
Oh, super excited, man. I consider Firewall 0 Hour to be one of the best games on PSVR and all of VR. And I've said before that there's 7 games that I could always consider technically, depending on what you like, the number one PSVR game. And this is one of them, man. This game is a gem, and for what it did, it really deserves a lot of credit for being one of the only games that always had a huge player base all the time. And like I said, this is another rare game where even though it was not a known IP from before, it was still a system seller. And that is incredibly rare for a game that is not a known IP. Nobody knows what it is, to be as successful as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. This one came out of it. Kind of came out of nowhere. We'd already had our aim controllers because of Farpoint, and then we heard this was coming out. I remember Dave Station going deep and trying to kind of dissect the inner workings of First Contact Entertainment and its employees, and being like, I don't know if we should be excited about this or not. And then
a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got and then we got to launch day, and we just jumped in and started streaming, and a game that should not have appealed to me, right? Because prior to PSVR, I was really not a multiplayer person. I isn't competitive first-person shooters for sure. Obviously, all of that has changed throughout the years, and I've become much more of a multiplayer person, much more of an online competitive person. Although I still suck, and it all kind of really started right here with Firewall 0 Hour. And man, it was just so much fun to jump in there and like learn the tricks of the trade, learn the rules with your friends, and just laugh every time you die, get shot in the face. But this is craziness. And it was just so much fun. And they've had and Firewall First Contact kind of did it right over the 4 years that Firewall's been out. It was sort of nonstop. Kept adding contractors, kept adding new maps, kept adding new items and devices and weapons and everything, right? Contractors. And they didn't charge. They charged for specific things, but you never had to pay, right? You were always given the maps for free. You were always given the contractors for free. And so they sort of did everything right when it came to sustaining a player base. And it showed. It showed because the player base was sustained. So it's hard.
Well, I think that's also, I mean, some of that for sure, but I think the game was just really, really fun and replayable, and had a really, really brilliant progression system that was really, really fun to kind of like figure out what some of these rewards were. I mean, and they did change it quite a bit, and yeah, I spent so many hours in this game. I think my record for the longest I played VR was this game, where I think I played this game for 18 hours straight.
Whoa.
And I don't think I've ever played another game for that long. I played it for 18 hours straight. And I think Firewall holds that record for me.
I would love to just move on from this and like not ask why, but I have to ask why. Were you streaming? Was there some kind of marathon? What the hell was going on?
Well, I had the illustrious Cat Scratch Squad back in the day. I had Killatrix. I had Jason Live. I had Minus. I had Just Incredible. I just had a great crew, a great group of cats with me. And mind you, I had like 3 people on my friends list before this game came out. And within months, I had like hundreds of people on my friends list after this.
That's awesome. It's awesome. We got Firewall haters in the chat. I love it. People hate when other people succeed. People hate when other people do well. You know what? The fact is, Firewall is not for everybody. Slow paced, tactical combat, right? If you want to jump around and slide and do things fucking willy nilly crazy, Call of Duty style, you have a game. Yeah, you have a game. This one's not it.
Yeah, if you're here to hear me bash about Firewall, sorry,
not going to happen.
You're going to have to look somewhere else, because I fucking love this game to death, and it's one of my favorite first-person shooters ever. So you're just not going to get that from me, and I think it's incredibly special. And yeah, there's still people that make the whole lobby simulator joke. We got some great news about that today. But I always said, man, like I never got stuck in lobbies. I know it can happen, but I also feel like that's kind of user error for not knowing how to back out of a game and go to a new lobby. So it's kind of funny how people.
Yes and no. The system should have worked better, but like honestly, I never got I could drop in and play public and just never have the issues that I've heard people have. And so
yeah, I'm not denying that they didn't have those issues, but I know several times where I was like, okay, like a minute or two passed, and like I was like, okay, nothing's happening. I'd back out, go back in, problem solved. I had a new match. So
nice.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Hopefully all the issues that Firewall 1 had, Firewall Ultra will not have. Sorry, sirens on my end. I love Nick Mulo in the chat because we have a couple tips. and then we'll talk. We got Nathan J. Roddy in the chat with two quid. Says, managed to platinum Firewall with some help.
Nice.
Excellent. I can't say I've ever done that.
That's a tough one. That's a lot of stuff to do.
The Fortnite Bros in the chat with the, and I did look this up as Nick was doing it for me. Turkish lira, 10 Turkish lira. I wanted to come up with something funny, but 10 tries is just, I don't know, kind of writes itself. Okay, so let's get into this blog post. I'll read this one since I made you read the last one. This one's the more exciting one anyway. Oh, just kidding. Revealing the evolution of the Firewall franchise for PlayStation VR2. This post on the PlayStation blog today, September 6th, 2022. Written by Frank Marm. What up, Frank? Community manager over at First Contact Entertainment. What?
Frank Show, what? You gotta read. Since day one.
Whoa.
First Contact Entertainment has been focused on. I'm just kidding.
That was shockingly way better than I expected. Like if I closed my eyes, Frank was here. Yeah. Since day one, First Contact Entertainment has been focused on bringing quality experiences to virtual reality, and our team has always believed in pushing the boundaries of what's possible, which is why now, after 4 years of support for Firewall 0 Hour, we are proud to announce we'll be pushing those boundaries once again with our next live-operated first-person multiplayer shooter for PlayStation VR2, Firewall Ultra. Ultra is the next evolution of the Firewall franchise. We're taking advantage of the new features that the PSVR2 has to offer, and we're excited to give you a sneak peek into how we've used some of those features in Firewall Ultra. Can I just say, every time I hear the name Firewall Ultra,
I was going to ask your opinion on the name.
Yeah,
what do you think of the name? First and foremost, what do you think of the name Firewall Ultra?
I mean, I don't know if I like it, right? Because was there like a Mortal Kombat Ultra or like an Ultra?
That was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
It was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat 4 Gold, I guess. But like, I don't know, Ultra.
I think you could do worse. I think you could do worse than Ultra.
Yeah.
And remember, if you keep it, remember our rule in VR. You kind of keep it simple is better.
Yeah.
Like if
You
they
mean like
called
The
it
Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution, Ultra?
Yes. I like Firewall Ultra more than that.
I do, yeah. And again, no one cares what the name is once you start playing it anyway. So I do have more thoughts in regards to the name, and I think that all pertains to the fact that I don't think you want to call it Firewall 0 Hour 2, because A, I don't think it totally is, and we'll get to that in a minute, but B, there's so many people who didn't play Firewall 0 Hour 1, and you never want to cut people off and say, and present somebody with a title that makes them not want to play the sequel because they didn't play the original, right? And so sometimes sequels don't sell as well because people feel as though they have to jump in with the first one. They'll be missing something if they play the sequel without playing the first one. But all right, man, let's keep moving on though, we'll get to. Here we go. Set 5 years after the original game, the contractors and locations you've grown to love have evolved and moved into the next generation. Since PSVR2 offers a much higher level of visual fidelity with 4K HDR, we've completely remade all character models. The maps have also seen a complete overhaul with new areas and new textures. There will also be new locations and contractors, but it wouldn't be a Firewall games without the weaponry and equipment, which also feature a much deeper level of customization. AJ, before we move on, I think what was said here is very, very important. I think this is partially why they're not calling it Firewall 0 Hour 2, right? Because this seems like this seems like 0 Hour on steroids. It's like they took all the old maps, they opened them up, they gave some of them new locations. They set it 5 years in the future, so maybe there's different routes to get from one place to another. Maybe some walls have been destroyed, and it gives you new areas to explore. All sorts of things could have changed, and of course they're sprucing it up and bringing everything over, which I think personally is a good move. Because I've said this before, the maps in Firewall were so good and so detailed, it would be kind of a shame to just push those to the side and say, hey, here's our new game. It's like, why not bring those over and introduce some new maps while you're at it?
I did see a viewer takeover question that kind of asked about this too.
Let's do it. Who's it from?
It comes from Rypop in the Discord today, and he says, would you consider Firewall Ultra to be a sequel or is it kind of what Blizzard is doing with Overwatch and it being a Firewall 1.5? I think it's a fair question to ask, but I'll tell you what, I think it's a great idea for what they're doing, because I personally, especially like even the first 8 maps in the game, that's one of the best things about the game. I thought was it had a really, really great level design. So I personally, as somebody who played the shit out of this game, I am excited to revisit some of these with more enhanced graphics, with just better enhancements. Of course, I want to see new levels. I want to see new content, tons of that as well. But I do think there was a lot of stuff there that is worthy of carrying over to the next gen that bulks up the game too. It's like backwards compatibility Firewall.
Yeah, and exactly. But no one's going to be saying, how come we don't have a PSVR2 version of Firewall 0 Hour if you get all of this stuff in Ultra, if you get all the old maps, if you get all the old contractors, all the old weapons, all the old stuff, and then they just start building from that point on. So they kind of deliver this pseudo sequel, but with everything from the original included. I think that's actually the perfect way to do this. We know so many developers out there who are just porting their PSVR 1 game over to PSVR 2 and being like, oh, and now it's prettier, and now you get to use the Sense controllers, and now there's haptics in the headset. Great. But how about some new content, right? And
Right.
How about, you justify maybe reselling it to us, or maybe you justify the upgrade charge with new content, make it a director's cut, make it again, like this is kind of the perfect example of a pseudo sequel that I'll happily spend money to upgrade to.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on then. Let's see, mission mail, which also includes a much deeper level of customization. There it is. We've been listening to our community over the past 4 years, and we're proud to announce that you'll be playing Firewall Ultra on dedicated servers.
Boom! Stop right here.
Okay, no more.
This right here.
Drop the mic.
This is huge, man. There's for a long, long time there have been the most dedicated player base to this game, have been clamoring for a couple of those things. The number one thing is dedicated servers. The reason being that oftentimes people would quit and it would ruin the game for everybody. It was one of the issues that the game had that was a big deal. I don't think they ever even fixed it where it would migrate hosts and stuff. That's what stuff like this is going to do. It's going to allow for much better connections. It's going to allow for host migration, all that stuff. So this in itself is already a big deal, a huge improvement over the original game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit shocking that this improvement didn't come to Firewall 0 Hour, but man,
I think they wanted to, man. I really think because they kind of teased it years, and maybe it's just they couldn't. Maybe they just couldn't do it.
Maybe, but I'm so glad that when they had this chance to correct the wrongs of the past, make things right that once went wrong, leaping from body to body, person to person.
Are you writing a graphic novel?
No,
or?
I just want to watch Quantum Leap.
Oh.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad that they they were listening, and if they didn't have dedicated servers, let's be honest here, we would be roasting them so fucking hard because come on, man, that was the one fucking thing you needed to do. That was the biggest thing that needed fixing.
Agreed.
Waleed is a GameCast specifically White Tiger with the Canadian $5 tip says, did people not see the feature screen at the end of the trailer? This is Firewall 10.0 in my opinion. Also, I hope there is a better offline mode. Firewall 10.0.
We'll get there for sure.
That's a big jump, man. It's a big jump. All right, let's keep moving. I have no idea where I am. Dedicated servers. Here we go. We're also adding rounds to the game. Let's stop right there.
Yep, another stop.
The fact is that Firewall 0 Hour did one thing really, really well, right? It was like the one game mode that it had was super addictive, and everybody loved it. But I think they could have gotten away with that without a problem, but it did suck to have to go back to the lobby and kind of wait, and then people would leave and people would rejoin, and then you maybe have to do this all these weapon swaps or item swaps because you're either attacking or defending, right? And it's like
Yeah.
it did feel like that just cut up the action far too much. And so playing in rounds means that you go in with your shit, your equipment, and then it's best 2 out of 3, I'm guessing, or something along those lines. Maybe we have control over that. And then you get to play for longer before you're kicked back and make adjustments for the next round. So I think this is huge. This is another big thing that people were asking for. And
This is one that is definitely, like, me personally, I didn't really care, but I know that this was a huge deal. This was probably the second most thing that was requested for this game. So definitely a very big deal.
yeah. I keep losing my place, and all of this is actually there's actually a lot of stuff going on here. Actually, adding rounds to the game. So each match, I stopped in the middle of a sentence. Each match will now be the best of 3. There we go. See, I could have just kept reading, and we would have had my answer. And we're adding an entirely new PvE experience. Whoa. Okay, Orsi on board the hype train. GameCat, the viewer takeover question says, "What do you know, or what can you infer about PvE in Firewall Ultra?" This is really hard to kind of pinpoint. I'm not exactly sure what PvE in Firewall would be, honestly. Like, I mean, do you have any thoughts about what this could entail?
Well, I think the best case scenario is some kind of cooperative mode. Maybe maybe little isolated missions, things like that. But right now, I mean, as the PvE mode, was kind of just like a bot mode, right?
Yeah.
It just threw you out on the maps and you had to attack or defend against bots, and it was the same thing. They're talking about this being a completely revamped, right, mode. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it would be a really wise decision for them to add some kind of PvE mode for people that want either to break it up a little bit, break up like the gameplay, or just have a different experience with it. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure what this could entail, but hopefully it's just objective based missions or something. Obviously the best thing they could do is like a story driven campaign.
Sure.
That you could play with people, and there is in the trailer, there is some narrating and stuff. I don't want to set my expectations too high here, because I know nothing about what to expect here outside of enhancing from the original game. But this game, I think, would be a great fit with a PvE campaign. Absolutely, it would be huge.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. 1 second here, because one of our loyal moderators just sent me a message and said we can learn a little bit more about PvE once you go in and wishlist.
Ooh.
It says enlist as an elite contractor and squad up for PvP and PvE multiplayer missions in this tactical first-person shooter developed by First Contact Entertainment for PlayStation VR2. I got nothing. But
You're fired, moderator.
This is on the PC store. Remember our conversation about the PlayStation store? It's wildly different from mobile to PC to PlayStation 5, PS4. So who the fuck knows? Maybe there's something somewhere that I'm not seeing on the PC store. So give me a heads up, Rye, and let me know what's going on. Dreamcastic channel with the $2 tip says, for the Quantum Leap reference, hashtag bring Sam home. Hell yeah, man.
Nice.
I knew there'd be some other Quantum Leap fans out there. We also got Ultimate Carnage, the Game Cat. Rare with the 4.5 quid says, hey guys, sorry I'm late. No apologies necessary, man. Just wipe your feet when you come in. All the way from the Isle of Man. Oh, hold on. We've got an update. Multiplayer missions, aka co-op missions.
Co-op missions. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, but is there more than just hacking the laptop? Sergeant Frosty says, story is deep. Hack laptops, get paid.
Yeah, man.
Elk V3D says, they call it Rainbow Six, but I never see any rainbows in it.
Adorable. Wrong game.
Yeah,
That's No Man's Sky.
I mean, this game definitely, I mean, adding a story campaign, if it was like a full-length story campaign, even if it was like 6 to 8 hours, like the Call of Duty kind of does, Call of Duty model, that to me would make this like it would make this feel like a full-fledged AAA game, something that this is what people love about games like SOCOM and stuff. When I played SOCOM back in the day, there was this co-op campaign where you could like switch off or help each other out and go on different like missions and stuff. I'm not expecting that big of stuff, but man, let me just say, if something like that were to happen in the future, my God, this would definitely be the dominant first-person shooter on this platform. More so than it already is.
Plus, we have future content planned post-launch, such as new contractors, maps, and weapons. So let's hope that Ultra is even more popular than 0 Hour, because obviously 0 Hour is one of the the most played games. Dude, it was always so crazy to find to jump into a game of Firewall 0 Hour, and you just start shooting the shit with the people you're playing with, and you go, so what other games do you play on PSVR? And they go, no, this is it, right? And so it was obviously extremely popular, and their fan base was extremely devoted. Hopefully that it goes as well on PSVR2. There's gonna be a whole lot more competition on PSVR2, but if they can achieve some success, then hopefully that means we'll have 4 years at least of Firewall Ultra. With it was always an event. I think when they added a new map to 0 Hour, it was like, let's jump in and check out the new map. Let's see how this goes. Oh, you're always hoping you get into that map. Always a lot of fun.
The new map was always the most exciting part of those updates. I mean, they did. There was a lot more that came with those, but it was always about the new map. But is there more? Is this?
Oh, there's more. There's more.
Okay.
All right. Let's get through the rest of the blog post, because we have a lot to talk about after this.
Yeah, we have also got. There's a bunch of stuff in the trailers that I want to break down too, or the footage, the little bit of footage they've shown us. There's a bunch I want to look at there too.
For sure. Top of all of that, Firewall Ultra utilizes new PlayStation VR2 Sense technology features like eye tracking, which enables you to intuitively swap weapons and bring up HUD indicators through cameras built into the PSVR2 headset.
I have no idea what that means, but I look forward to finding out.
Like swapping weapons with your eyes, like of all things, right? Like I understand, like if you're picking up something, if you're picking up, if you're picking up ammunition or whatever else that might be laying around, coins, whatever it is that's in the level, intel, right? It helps if you're able to kind of like just look at it with your eyes and then pull the grip or pull the trigger, whatever it is. So the game knows that's exactly what you're trying to do. So you don't have to like kind of align your character to pick it up properly. But swapping weapons with your eyes, AJ, of all the things I thought it could be used for, I didn't think eye tracking would be used for switching weapons ever.
That's definitely a new one. I wonder if it's going to be like holding the triangle and there's like a weapon wheel, and like whatever you're looking at and let go of, it'll select that one. But that doesn't, to me, as cool as that is, that doesn't strike me as like an immersive feature. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
If you haven't already, make sure you check out our announcement trailer for a first look at what's on the horizon for Firewall Ultra. And I don't think there's any more details in here. We'll just blast through the end. Finally, we'd like to thank all of our wonderful community members, from meetups to international tournaments. The community for Firewall 0 Hour far surpassed any of our expectations. For many, Firewall 0 Hour is much more than a game. It's a virtual family get-together. It's a place to make new friends. It's an escape to another world from the comfort of their own living room. Many of our players have been with us since launch. They're extremely helpful to new players and create some of the best content we've ever seen, which we actually play in a constant loop on our lunchroom television. But who's managing the lunchroom, First Contact? Who's managing the lunchroom?
Do you have a chief people officer? I like the way they did this article more, because it's just like facts, info, and not a lot. And then they saved the little, this is, time to be excited at the end. This was a little bit better written than the other stuff.
Yeah. And then they say, we're looking forward to sharing gameplay with you soon. So there's very little gameplay that was shown in here. It even said this is a mix of, in-game cinematics with gameplay. And so I don't think we've really seen, what Firewall Ultra.
If they actually have gameplay ready to be shown, like, I will be fucking ecstatic, like, because so many VR projects, they take a long time to develop. There's lots of ambitious ideas and everything, but it takes forever to see the gameplay. And then by the time we see the gameplay, it's like, oh, you spent the last 2 years leading up to this moment making that gameplay you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would love to see some stuff.
I gotta say, this is one of the first things I thought of today when this trailer dropped, when the blog post article dropped. And this comes from Jay Can Cut Glass Meow over on Discord. His viewer takeover question was, what do you think about Firewall Ultra being revealed on a PlayStation blog post and an oversaturated PlayStation YouTube channel instead of on a showcase? Are you worried that Sony might stick to blog posts to unveil the majority of the rest of the PSVR2 launch lineup?
I'm very worried, and I'm not happy about it.
I knew you would be. That's why we included this.
Listen, you do want to get me angry. You just bring up Sony marketing. Look, it's not even just me anymore. Look at half the internet. Like, they are really, more than half, I would say, are really mad about the marketing, the messaging that Sony is doing. And, they're at the end of the day, they're our corporate overlords, so we can't do shit about it. But
I think you're misreading people, though. I think people are just so enthusiastic about PlayStation VR2, about Firewall, about a Sony showcase, about a PlayStation showcase. Everyone is just dying to find out A, when it's going to happen, B, what's going to be there, and they can't wait for it to happen. It's like they're super passionate, and I don't think they're just. It's coming out.
That's
it might
part
look
of it,
like anger.
But last gen Sony would harness that and give you exactly what you want and make you 10 times more excited and love them like they were actually a person. This regime, not so much. This regime is just like literally they're losing out on so much goodwill. They're just bleeding goodwill with their marketing strategies.
See, I think they know what's coming. Unlike us, they know what's coming, and so
they know they have us by the balls and can do whatever they want.
I mean, not really, man. It's like people can sell their PlayStation 5 and jump ship and go play PC VR or Xbox or whatever they want to do. They don't really have us by the balls. What they have is knowledge about what they're about to reveal, and I think they know full well that when they reveal it, people are going to go, "Oh, we forgive you. You were just fucking with us. Look at all the shit you just showed off. It's amazing." And really, dude, the fact that they didn't reveal this during a PlayStation showcase, during a PSVR2 segment, doesn't that make you think, if this wasn't big enough, if Firewall Ultra wasn't big enough to reveal during a PlayStation VR2 segment in an official PlayStation showcase, what is big enough? What are they going to show? That just makes me think that the titles they're going to show are that much bigger. This big.
I thought this to myself, and then I was like, you know what? No, I am certainly hoping that. I am certainly hoping that is the case, Brian. But I have not seen any evidence of that being the case. This reminds me of 4 or 5 years ago where I was bitching about their marketing then, where they show something like Firewall on a PS blog post, and then they're going to show Trover Saves the Universe 2 on the showcase. That's what they're saving.
What do you got against Trover?
I love Trover, but yeah. I still never understood why that was shown at E3 over Astrobot.
I'm still not concerned.
Still salty about that.
I'm still not concerned. That's all I got to say. Until we have a reason to be concerned, until we see the showcase, until we get closer to PSVR 2, right now I'm not concerned. I will be concerned in 3 months if nothing's changed, right? If we haven't seen a showcase in 3 months, if we don't know what the launch titles are for PSVR 2 yet, if fucking pre-orders aren't open, I will be definitely concerned if they don't get our Christmas money, right, or our holiday money. I'll be very concerned because there'll be lots and lots of lost opportunities, and it makes me think, yeah, everything's being horribly mismanaged, but we're not quite there yet. I will remain optimistic. Pardon me.
Listen, man, at the end of the day, they do give me what I want with the games and everything. So I don't have to really be happy about that. I understand all the things going on, and it's hard to do these things and whatever, but it doesn't hurt my excitement for this at all. And I hate to be too I hate to get so sidetracked with this because I really am excited about PSVR 2 and all these things. But, Jay asked the question knowing that it was going to, knowing what it was going to get out of me, get a rise out of me. And yeah, I mean, they still have to prove it. And just, it's been a couple years now and I still am not totally convinced yet. I mean, look at the way that PlayStation early 2023 was announced. You call that marketing? That's bullshit. That is not good. is not good in my opinion. But anyways, what is good, Brian, is this announcement.
This announcement is great. Brian's cat, which I had no idea Tornado was able to tip, tipped 20. I got to come up with something cool for tries. We've never had tries donated before. I'm going to come up with something, I swear. 20 tries. Sorry, no. What month of 2023 do you think PSVR2 is coming? This is very interesting, AJ, because I don't know if you saw somebody named Moses over on Twitter, but they basically were like, they saw on the store page a particular screen grab of the trailer that we've been looking at, and there's like an ammo count, and it was basically like, it very clearly says 221, I think, like however it breaks down, and they were like, is this an Easter egg? Is this First Contact Entertainment telling us the launch date of Firewall Ultra and potentially the PSVR2 as well? How crazy would that be?
It would be crazy. It would be a fun little thing that they snuck in there. But I seriously doubt it.
Yeah.
It would be funny though. But I seriously doubt that's what that was. Yeah, no. Just showing that the ammo is low and they're reloading and showing the different things there. What's cool about that picture though, or the video that picture is taken from, is that you see the fingers move a little bit. And they talk about some of the different features that this has, including some of those things, some of the finger touch detection, eye tracking. They talked about that. So get to see a little bit of that hand movement, finger touch detection. I don't know if we've seen a lot of that yet, but just a little tiny bit, but still cool.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to bring up that picture so everyone could see what we're talking about. But we'll get there. Okay.
They also started a showcase, a state of play, where they started the showcase saying March 23rd, 2023, and then showed 5 PSVR2 games, and then didn't seem like it was a release date. So if that isn't, I don't know what is.
It's true. Okay. Real quick. Don't mind me. Talk amongst yourselves.
So anyways,
listen, Donatello, let me get a couple tips out here while I'm trying to get this picture up. Donatello, the Scientist Game Cat, with a $2 tip, says, Sony making me a simp. Check the blog 100 times. I think that's what everybody was doing today, right? Because we felt like this was sort of the last chance to have a PlayStation Showcase announced for Thursday. We figured they're certainly going to do it at the latest Tuesday if they're going to do it Thursday. My big question for everyone out there is, if today was the last day for them to announce something for Thursday, is tomorrow the last day for them to announce something for Friday? Do we still have hope? I have no fucking idea, man. I have no idea.
Yep, no idea. I don't think so, though. No. But there are a couple interesting things from this video. If we break down the video, I know you're bringing up that thing. Graphically, I love that it has the same art style, because I absolutely loved the kind of realistic aesthetic that Firewall Zero had. I think that's one of its better qualities, is that it just felt like it helped the immersion, I should say. But yeah, it definitely has you can tell there's like a very much improved graphics, resolution, textures, all those things they said. So yeah, even that picture that you're wiggling around, trying to get on the screen right there, you can even see like the skin texture, and kind of like the ripples in the skin and the hands and stuff, and just little things like that, I think are already looking pretty cool. Yeah. If it, just a big graphical overall, because at the time I thought the Firewall looked amazing. If you go back to it now, it's kind of like,
yeah,
like there's parts here and there, but it hasn't aged graphically super well.
Since we have this up on the screen, and by the way, Mr. Moses, I want to say Mr. Moses 1911 on Twitter. Thank you so much for pointing this out. Good times. Does this not seem like strangely deliberate to you, to like just to be like 221? Like, it seems very deliberate. I didn't believe it at first, but then I kind of was like, oh my god, this is like something that could easily be overlooked. A lot of people have been like, oh man, I don't know, it just seems like an ammo count, no big deal. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks very deliberate. February 21st. We'll see. No?
I don't know if I'm buying that just yet.
No.
But I love your conspiracy theories always.
Hey, it's always fun. Always fun. All right, let's get this thing off the screen. This is gigantic. Boop. There it is. What else did you have? You had some breakdown stuff, things that you want to break down in the trailer. We'll get to more viewer takeover questions and tips in just a second, but
Well,
yeah.
like I was saying, a lot of the stuff is it looks similar. It's just like twice as detailed looking. Like I was saying I love that it has the same art style. But there's definitely better lighting going on. There's definitely better textures going on. You see him actually putting his hand out and touching the laptop and stuff. That might be kind of fun. And but yeah, I just fully expect kind of like a completely revamped. Like I said, even though it's kind of a Firewall 1.5 or something, I think that I see that as mostly a good thing. And yeah, I really think this could be something really, really good, and I definitely think it deserves a big spotlight on it. Hopefully, it does get some spotlight on it.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to more gameplay because right now this was a great reveal. This was something that got the blood flowing again. Things that we sort of stalled out. The beginning of June, we had, as you said, we had that state of play that there were 4 PlayStation VR games shown, PSVR2 games shown, and one big mystery with Resident Evil 4. Like, what the hell is happening with that? Who the hell knows? We don't know. But it's been oddly quiet since then. Especially from the game reveal department. And so this was just really, really good. And this was something I think we desperately needed today. And so even though there's not a whole lot going on in this. And really, they show that list of features at the end, which is great. But it's pretty much all things we knew. We assumed that there would be faster loading times because on the PlayStation 5 with the SSD, we knew that there'd be finger touch detection. We knew all this stuff, but it is good to see them kind of calling that out and saying, hey, this is very much a PSVR2 game. In fact, it's PSVR2 exclusive. We are taking advantage of all of these features. But gameplay.
You think we'll start to see more games? So we know that there's supposed to be a lot of remasters in the works. You think this kind of is a good strategy of instead of just remastering Firewall to take some of the old and build upon it? You think and you think we'll see other games start to do things like this?
I hope so, man. I hope so. This is the best. This is kind of like the best case scenario. Not only do we get the upgraded game, but we get a whole lot more content and just ways for First Contact to correct mistakes that they had made prior. And so I think very few times in life do you get a chance to go and start over from scratch. But additionally, use all of the things you've already created. I mean, bringing all these assets into PSVR2 and then upscaling them and making them more realistic and the whole thing, and getting to go in and deform the maps in whatever way to give them new areas. You don't get these kind of opportunities very often, I think, as a game developer, right? Unless your game is super successful, you don't see HD remasters all that frequently. So this is the perfect opportunity for them to do this, and I hope it pans out. And I hope other developers are paying attention because this is obviously something that people want.
Yeah, it's a great announcement. I'm really excited about it, and yeah, to have just I hope it's a launch game too, because to already have what is probably a solid multiplayer first-person shooter like this at launch is certainly going to help the launch of PSVR 2.
Yeah.
This might just be the tip of the iceberg too,
David Higgins in the chat says, Brian, did nobody spot the Resident Evil 4 contains VR content releases date? Yeah, no, we talked about that endlessly, David, but thank you. Let's get a couple tips here going. We got Exlee, EXLEE 3000, which is a massive upgrade over 2000. $10 tip says, AKA Spotted Badger, greetings from Raleigh. Love you guys. Y'all rock. Keep up the great work. What are you doing in Raleigh, man? Oh, you probably live there, so I won't say anything bad about it.
What up, Spotted Badger?
Thank you so much for the support. The VR Grid, we got Ryan in the chat with the Canadian $2 tip, says PR email from Cave Digger 2. It's coming this Thursday to PSVR. Yeah, man, that's how I really started my day today. I woke up at like 6:30 a.m. when they emailed us, and I was like, "Oh wow, we've got a new PlayStation VR game, Cave Digger 2."
Don't worry, Sony is saving that for the showcase. Firewall, Blogworthy, Cave Digger 2.
Yeah.
That's the showcase stuff.
I was like, wow, okay, well, it's a new PSVR 1 game. I should make a breaking news report about it. And then I, crawled out of bed and sat down at my desk, and this happened. And I was like, shit, man, no one's gonna care about Cave Digger this week. We'll get to Cave Digger when the excitement for this has died down a little bit, and once I have the game in my hands and we can kind of preview it for people. It looks good, man. We actually debuted Cave Digger 2. We announced it on, I want to say, the PSVR award show, like 2019, I believe. At that point, it was just like concept art. So it's very cool. We've come full circle.
So
let's get one more tip out of here, man, so we can make sure we cover them all. Wally is now GameCat. Specifically, White Tiger with Canadian $2 tip says, when do you now see a Sony showcase happening? Tell him, AJ.
Dude, fuck if I know.
Never.
End of, at best, maybe end of September. Who knows at this point? I don't honestly give a shit anymore. Trying to keep up with that.
So I've been told that it's coming this month, and I was told that the 8th sounds fucking spot on.
I have been told soon, but what the fuck does that mean anymore? Like, the best thing to do is just not think about it.
Yeah, I don't know what the complete lineup is in regards to all the shows. We looked at the dates for TGS, we looked at the date for Ubisoft and the Disney Marvel show. And I was trying to find a little place that Sony would agree on, right? Like where would, if I was Sony, which is never goes well whenever I ask myself that question, if I was Sony, what would I do? The answer is never the same, I promise you. It seems like they could announce it tomorrow for next week, like very easily, because then Sony's showcase would kick off TGS, and then that makes perfect sense to have Resident Evil playable on the show floor on PlayStation VR2. But I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. If it's not happening on Thursday, then I don't have any solid information on it.
So one thing that's cool, Brian, about this Firewall 0 hour,
yes, sir,
Firewall Ultra, is that it is officially. Did you know? Fun fact: this will be good PSVR2 trivia in 7 years from now when we're doing that at the end of the show. Firewall Ultra is officially the first PlayStation VR2 game that you can wishlist on PS5. Did you know that?
Yeah, I tweeted that like 18 hours ago.
Oh.
You should follow me on Twitter. No, don't. I make fun of you, and I wouldn't want you, like, knowing how much I make fun of you, so...
Oh, you make fun of me? You're so sweet.
Constantly. It's because I love you so much. That's what it is. Yep.
Actually, I think Brax Bro was in the chat and said that also he believes that you can also wish list Horizon Call the Mountain. So I'm going to take a look real quick and see if there's something.
All right, while you're checking that out, then let me take care of a couple more viewer takeover questions. Darth Vader the Game Cat says hashtag viewer takeover for Firewall, a game that's known for tapping a button to reload. Good old aim controller. Do you think with the added Sense controllers they would add manual reloading? That's such a good question. AJ, what do you think?
That is a feature that's asked about a lot.
Yeah. It made sense.
Manual
it was such
reloading.
Like Firewall was like such an aim controller game, right? It didn't make sense to have it in the first game, but now that they're trying to utilize the Sense controllers, it does make sense, right? Sense.
Yeah, I just heard Sense a lot.
I'll see myself out.
It's something. It'll be interesting because I do think that's something that, at least from my experience, obviously I only play PSVR games, so there's not a lot of options with that. There's probably on other platforms games that include the more intricate manual reloading stuff. If they can find a way to make keep the game competitive, balanced, and fun, and have all that stuff, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was always running out of ammo in 0 hour, and always like at the worst possible times. So I just envisioned, as soon as Vader asked this question, I envisioned like taking cover and of course, being like, shit, I'm out of ammo. Am I going to have to like run back and whatever? But now, if you can just like take a clip and like toss it to, like this is kind of something they teased for like after the fall, and like it wasn't something anybody ever really used, right? It was just like tossing a clip to your teammate and being like, shit, I was out of ammo. Thank you so much. You know, or just yelling to them as you're both undercover or taking cover, whatever. You know, undercover. There's so many different things they could do with that mechanic. If you're going to manual reload, then great. And on top of that, I hope that there's an option for manual reload. And auto reload, because for people who prefer one over the other. But there's got to be an advantage. This is something we were talking about in voice chat earlier. There's got to be an advantage to manual reloading, right? Because things can go badly. So instead of why would you ever manually reload if you're in the middle of a firefight or if you're like whatever? There's no reason to do it unless you could do it like way faster manually, right? The canned animation takes 4 seconds. Well, you can do this in 2 seconds, but you've got to do it yourself. So I don't know. Just a thought.
So I do have I do have Firewall Ultra wishlist now.
Okay.
Strategize, communicate, dominate. It's got all the info and stuff there. I do see that they have Horizon Call of the Mountain under that just announced thing, but when I click on it, nothing happens. So it just says like an error. So maybe they're gearing up for something soon. Who knows?
I mean, they must be gearing up for a blog post, right?
Definitely gearing up for a blog post.
Definitely.
That's for sure.
Wally is now a GameCat, specifically White Tiger, ran with Canadian $2 tip, says likely we'll have both reload options like Crisis Brigade. Good call. I hope they do. Options are always better. Old Darth, a PSVR2 gaming hound dog with Canadian $2 tip, says thoughts on a 3D gaming option. Good, bad, idea. I'm assuming he means
3D gaming option?
Yeah, so I'm assuming he means when you play a flat screen game in cinema mode, being able to play it in like 3D. It's not. I mean, personally, it's not for me, right? I for all the people who want that, then absolutely. I also 3D Blu-rays somehow that stopped getting supported on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, is that even possible? Like because of that? But I guess with the headset maybe. But
for sure, it's definitely possible. I just like the other thing is like I don't really want to sit. And this is again very very personal answer. You're asking me personally. I don't really care about playing something in cinema mode. So that means I don't care about playing it in 3D in cinema mode. And I also have only really watched like 1 or 2 3D Blu-ray movies ever in my PSVR1 headset over the last 5 years, 6 years. So it's not for me. But if there's people out there who really, really want that feature, then I hope they include it. Just not for me. And then we got one more viewer takeover question from Peepo, the mistaken NDA. Right, hashtag viewer takeover with Firewall Ultra being the first PSVR2 game in the store to wishlist. When are we expecting to be able to wishlist the others as Horizon Call of the Mountain isn't on the store? I guess it is now, right? So it can't be wishlisted yet.
I can wishlist it from my mobile app.
Nice.
My mobile phone. So you can wishlist it from the mobile phone app, but not from the PS5 yet.
Okay. Pretty
I don't think it's anything here that we haven't already covered though.
Nice. Pretty crazy, man. This has been a pretty exciting day. Did not expect to be seeing this today. Obviously, First Contact missed their 4-year anniversary. They weren't able to reveal what they wanted to reveal. We're assuming that this was what it was. So luckily we didn't have to wait all too long. What was it, a week? Not a big deal at all. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, and what do you think, man? Do you think when we finally do see a Sony showcase, we will actually see Firewall in it with more gameplay? Or do you think it'll just be left out completely because we got this big reveal today?
I think it kind of depends on the state of the game, but I think if there's enough to show, which it looks like there's enough to show. I mean, the little teaser there looks kind of nice. I would hope to see it, and like you said, man, if it's not part of the show, I only hope that that's because something even bigger is going on. But I certainly hope to see it up there. I think it's worthy. It really carried a lot of multiplayer on its back over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, there was something I was talking about earlier today, and it actually pertains a little bit to the op-ed I just posted yesterday. I'm really starting to wonder if Sony is. I can't imagine that they've got their finger on the pulse to this extent, but if they do, it's very possible that they're aware that Firewall is really big to us and really big to a VR audience, but outside of that, Firewall kind of means nothing to anybody, right? It's
No,
huge.
but the whole point is you look at it, you see it, and you go, "Holy shit, this looks like Rainbow Six Siege," or
Yep.
it looks familiar enough."
Yep.
That's the same thing that Firewall 1, Firewall 0 Hour, that was the same effect that it had.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be something they knew. They see it and they go, "Oh shit, VR's got a badass looking multiplayer military shooter that looks awesome." And that was enough, That's what I mean by that.
But was it enough though? That's the thing. Is like, yeah, it did really well for a VR game. I really do think that Sony's thinking about the bigger picture this time around and saying, listen, as much as we want to show games like Firewall, we need games that people recognize. When it comes to a showcase, when they do a PSVR2 specific event, that's one thing. But what they're doing is showcase when the whole world's eyes are on them. Gamers that are on Xbox and Switch, potential PlayStation 5 gamers, people who are not even considering PSVR2, not even considering it as an option, thinking that VR is still a gimmick, then to see games from studios they've never heard of, that are IPs they've never heard of, including Firewall, aren't going to really move the needle. It's going to be great for all of us in the VR ecosystem already to see more Firewall. Absolutely. We're so excited about it. But if you want it, Sony needs to change their marketing strategy for PSVR 2 because it didn't actually work terribly with PSVR 1, right? It's like 6 million headsets, great. They need to sell like 6 million the first year minimum. Like they need to absolutely crush PSVR 1 sales. And so what better way to do that than to show games that people are familiar with, show people games from IPs that they're aware of, from AAA studios, right? Yes, it's going to be great we have these games, but if you really want to move the needle and show people why PlayStation VR 2 is different than Quest 2, different than even PC VR, right? You can play amazing games on PC VR, but you have to have really amazing specs. And on top of that, you don't get PlayStation IPs on PC for the most part, especially in VR. So I think they need to change their strategy. And that might be why this gets left out of the showcase, because during the showcase, they're going to show games that people know and be like, and here's what hybrid means. Here's the reason you want a VR headset. And it's not because of some IP you've never heard of. It's because your favorite IP is also in VR. Just a guess.
We'll see.
We'll see. You want to play 20 questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Listen, we got to play PSVR 20 questions. AJ's got a game in his head, PSVR game. It's got to already be out. That's the only real rule. And I think North American region too is what we've decided. I've got 6 minutes and 20 yes or no questions. And all of you guys out there, I need your help to help me guess what PlayStation VR game AJ is thinking of. AJ, do you have a game at the ready?
I do have a game at the ready.
Excellent. Well, in that case, I'm going to put 6 minutes up on the clock up on the count, the way that Jeremy likes it.
When did this game get so expensive, too? What the hell?
What game?
I'm not telling you. I don't remember this game being this expensive. What happened? Price?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Price went up a lot, man. Holy shit. Maybe I just don't remember. I guess it was always this price.
The price of 20
Holy
questions?
shit.
What are we talking about?
The price of my game that I'm thinking of.
Oh.
It's, yeah.
Okay. Is it Job Simulator? No, I haven't started the game. Okay. On mark, get set, go. Is this a puzzle game?
This is not a puzzle game.
Uh-oh. Guys, it's not Blind Spot. I don't know what game it could be.
Dang, I should totally do that.
Good thing you didn't do it today.
The only problem is you're the only person that remembers Blind Spot.
Well, then I'm the perfect contestant for when you decide to drop that on me. Is this a game from a recognizable IP?
No.
Does it have dinosaurs, robots, or zombies in the game?
It's got at least one of those.
Okay. Dinosaurs, robots, or zombies. Okay, let's see. Uh-oh. Now I'm hung up on this. Okay. Did this developer make any other PSVR games?
They certainly did.
Oh, wow, they did. Okay. Other PSVR games. They made zombies, robots, or dinosaurs. Do you build cities? Or do you build a town or a city in this game? A town?
On Rock and Roll? No, you don't build cities or towns in
Okay.
this.
I had to get Dino Frontier out of my head. That's why I had to do that.
That's 5.
Okay. Mancunian Game Cat asks, you doing a lot of shooting in this game?
You do a lot of shooting.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stay on that question and go with Super Galaxy Godstar. Is it a wave shooter?
It's got wave shooter elements.
Okay. Wave shooter ish. Okay. Braxbro asks, is it a top 50 game? Or a game that was in contention?
Funnily enough, it wasn't, and it probably should have been, but no,
Okay.
it wasn't on our top 50.
Wasn't on anybody's top 50.
I don't think so.
Okay. No top 50.
Kind of went under the radar.
Braxbro, good question. Does it support the aim controller? Wow.
Oh, let me just look at the,
What is going on?
Look at the.
You're AJing the fuck out of this.
I am. I don't know.
Okay, well that eliminates quite a few games because
According to the page, it does not support aim, but I thought it did.
okay.
No, but it doesn't.
Okay, we gotta narrow down this other question. Is when I asked about dinosaurs, robots, and zombies, is it zombies? Is zombies a thing in this game?
It is zombies.
All right.
And that's 10.
Zombies. All right. For whatever reason, immediately Contagion VR Outbreak jumped into my head, and that's because that's the only one AJ wouldn't know about the aim support on, because it's been so long and we haven't really gone back to it. Did this game get a major DLC update? The fourth episode, as it was.
A fourth? Did this game get a 4th episode? Is that what you just asked?
Yeah.
No, it did not get a 4th episode.
Okay, because that was Biotech. It was episode 4.
It did get a major update though.
Okay, so it's not Contagion, but it is a zombie game that got a major update. Is there any multiplayer?
It has zombies in it.
Okay.
There is not multiplayer.
Not multiplayer.
No.
Okay. Guys, we got to get away from Shooty Fruity because that is 100% a wave shooter. It's not wave shooter elements or wave shooter-y. That is 100% a wave shooter. What did we say about multiplayer? Did I ask that yet?
No multiplayer.
No multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Okay. It's not Alvo. Not after the fall. Come on. We can't go with the Walker because it's that would not even be a top 50 by any stretch.
It makes sense that this one is hard.
And it's not Doom. It's not Doom because it's not a recognizable IP. Brookhaven is definitely okay. We got to ask more questions here.
Brookhaven has aim support.
Right. Not Onslaught. Crap. Okay, I gotta stop looking at the chat because I need to ask some more questions. Shit. This is not going well, you guys. This is not going well. I'm losing my mind. Is there an inventory system?
Like while you're playing?
Yeah. Can you carry stuff? Is there full locomotion? I'm asking lots of questions. We're about out of time.
There is a little bit of full locomotion.
A little bit. Are there bears in this game?
There are not bears in this game.
Is there are there guns? I mean, are there? Yeah. Is it Gun Club VR? I don't fucking know, dude.
It is Gun Club VR. I tried to give that to you at the end, saying yes, there's lots of guns.
Well, I ran out of time.
Beater.
I ran out of time. The bomb had blown up. But thank you very much.
I think that counts.
To the Fenner for getting me there at the end. I'm going to leave it up to Looper, the game cat, who chronicles all of these games, to decide whether I beat the clock or not. I think with all the AJ stalls, I should have been awarded a few extra seconds.
I don't stall.
I think you intentionally stalled.
You just ask hard questions.
Does it have aim support? Is a hard question.
I thought it did. Apparently, it doesn't.
No way. All right. Thank you, Fenner, very much for getting me there.
It has been a while. We totally didn't mention this during our top 50. I'm actually kind of surprised. I guess the tracking issues, hardware issues, kind of caught up with this one, but it was a really good game. Kind of.
It was a really good game. It's one of those games that when people go, "Hey, it's on sale. Should I buy it?" Okay, absolutely. It's always a great buy. But you know. It's never a game.
Cardboard cutout zombies. You got it, Steve.
Cardboard cutout zombies. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh man. Yep. No, I should have gotten that. Guys, thank you so much.
It's a tough one.
Yes.
Tough one.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, doing this, and being here for the special episode of GamesCast Live. Thank you, AJ, for being here. Sorry about yesterday. We weren't able to do our regular Monday show, and sorry to everybody in West for not being able to do our regular Wednesday show tomorrow. But glad we could do this instead. We're having great news to talk about. It's always fun. Make sure you subscribe to AJ over at PSVR Underground if you don't already. He's doing great work over there, keeping the PSVR dream alive and the PSVR2 nightmare at the ready. I don't know what that means, but we're going to go with that. Thank you to everybody who supports this channel. And we got Jay Meow, who gets this thing up on podcast services of your choice whenever. We also got all the mods doing amazing things, keeping the community intact, not just here, but over on Discord. Make sure you click the link in the description to join our Discord. And of course, Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who adds timestamps to this thing after the fact. Guys, thanks for everyone who hung out. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks everybody who helped me out in 20 questions. Thank you, Fenner. Thank you to everybody who tips. Thanks to everybody who supports us on patreon.com/withoutprogames. I swear I'm going to update that scroll soon. And of course, thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show. Didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. AJ, I know it's not Monday, but can I cue the cat?
You the MF cat, Brian, because I want to say you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. To Nathan J. Rhodey, Jay Meow says podcast numbers keep growing. Thanks, cats, for supporting it. Hey, man, that's how I ended up here somehow. Best community ever, dude. Brax, bro, always good to be here. Agree, King E Mighty, and yes, having fun with Albo. Interesting, that's good.
Nice.
We love it when you guys have fun with games. Serial Killer, the Game Cat, has a new game puppy. Wow! Whoa. Isn't that weird how we discovered that? Darth Vader, the Game Cat, says bye. Peter Venables, goodbye to you.
Bye.
Vargle Soft Night to you as well. Brax, bro, says as always, in case I don't see you later, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Steve IRA says, cue the showcase. Couldn't freaking agree more, Steve IRA. Ben Dawson, good night to you as well. Glad this Tuesday sucks. Just a little bit less. Nighty night. Salvador, my homie, what's up? My other homie, Ben L of the Game Cat Army says, I'm awake again. Wake, rise, 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 Ben L.
Rise.
Super Galaxy. What is that from?
Altered Beast.
Oh, really? Is that really?
Isn't
oh,
it?
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's how it begins. Yeah. Rise,
Bogey Cat Productions, Farpoint for Life. How you like Farpoint at number 6 or something? That was fun time. Gibbo Gaming, Ashby the Groovy Game Cat, or Seek is our local chief people officer.
Oh man, for anyone at nDreams who's watching, thank you so much. That was my favorite joke of the day.
Chief people officer.
Oh man.
Oh,
AJ, let's get out of here, man. Good night, everybody. We love you all.
aim support. Aim 2, baby. Silent Hill, PSVR 2. Let's do it.
Abandoned?
So, yeah, I guess.
You just don't want anything I want to come to fruition. That's all it is.
Why? That sounds so mean. Of course not.
Oh, I do want Silent Hill though, so there's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Right.